Welcome back to the bench. Ham Spiced here with Midwest Gadgets, and today we're going to talk about the DIY field generators that we sell. This is an all-in-one kit. It has everything that you need from start to finish to build a field generator. You're going to see that there's not a lot of parts here. We have the main board, the antenna, and a USB-C pigtail. I'm also going to be using one of our field detectors at the end to show that it works. Things that you're going to need. You're going to need some solder. I use Kester 6347 or 6743, one of the two. You're going to need a knife, a soldering iron, and some snips. You can actually use some scissors if you wanted. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take our pigtail and we're just going to snip the ends. Try to get about half the distance. I'm going to snip them right here. You can use wire strippers. It's not necessarily needed, but you definitely can. I find it easier to just use a knife. You can use a razor blade, just be careful with it. But at the end, I'm going to put the wire right on the edge of the knife. And I'm just going to spin the wire. Spin, spin, spin. Once you feel it start, like as you push the knife into the wire, you can kind of feel that it's touching something metal, and that's how you know you've gone deep enough. Once you get deep enough, you can just grab where you've created that crease, and you can pull the shielding right off. I'm going to do the same for the positive. Put it on the knife, push it in a little bit, and I'm just going to spin. Putting a little bit of pressure on just the wire itself while it spins along the blade is going to cut that insulation right off. You can bend it, you can see where your cut is, and if you wanted to, if it's not deep enough, you can slice a little bit more in there. I'm just going to grab it with my nails and pull. And if I can get my nail in there, you can see that it pulls the insulation right off. You don't have to worry about pulling any of the wires through. Alright, that side's done. Let's do the tails that we just cut. Same as before. If you don't feel comfortable spinning it, you can take your knife and just kind of saw out one end until you can feel it touch the wire. That feels like it's touching. Flip it around on the other side. Do the same sawing motion. As soon as you start feeling it touch that wire, you can stop. You can bend it. You can see that it's all the way through, and that you should be able to see the wire inside. From here, same thing. I'm going to get my nail right in there. I'm just going to pull. Comes right off. These wires are thin. You don't need to use a pair of wire cutters. You can actually use a pair of scissors if you wanted. But I'm going to use the same motion. Cut until I feel that it's touching that wire. You can feel like kind of grind. I'm going to bend it just so I can see that I'm at the wire. Also gives me a place to put my nail as I pull. Pull it right off. Alright, now what we have is 4 sets of wires that are completely bare. What I like to do is, with these bare wires, I just like to twist. And all I'm doing is I'm twisting those strands of wire that's inside of the insulation, and I'm making them closer and tighter together. This makes it so that when we pre-tin our wires, they go into the slots perfect. So, just grabbing the edges of the wire and twisting the cable. Grabbing the edges of the wire, twisting the cable. Alright, I'm going to put our sheet back on our knife so we don't cut ourselves. Place it aside. At this point, we're no longer going to need our knife or our snips, so I'm going to put them off to the side. Now I'm going to grab our soldering iron. I use the pine sol. We're going to turn it on. It's going to take a second to get up to temperature. As we wait, I'm going to unspool some of our solder. We're not going to need very much. And all we're going to be doing in this step, once this gets up to temperature, is we're just going to pre-tin our cable. As you can see, I'm not going to be using anything fancy. I'm not going to use any helping hands. I'm not going to use a plate. I'm going to do it right here on the felt. We're almost at temperature. You know that you're going to be at temperature when you just barely touch the solder to the tip and it melts. What I like to do before I start soldering ever is I'm going to throw a little bit of solder on the tip and I'm going to run it in my tip cleaner, which is essentially just a copper scrub pad, but it gives us a nice tip. Got some smuts on there, so I'm going to clean it a little bit more, and it's nice and clean. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to touch the tip with some solder, make sure it's nice. I'm going to touch the wires on it. When the wire looks efficiently coated, I'm going to do the same thing to the next one. Touch. And touch the wire. What the solder does is it helps heat up the wire. Solder flows where there's heat. These both look pretty well tinned. I'm going to clean my tip again. Move on to the next set. Touch the tip, run the wire through, touch the tip, run the wire through. We can even re-tin the factory side. It has a little bit of tin on it already. I'm just going to touch and add a little bit more. Tip and touch. Alright, clean my tip one last time, and we're going to go ahead and arrange all of our wires. If you look at the main board here, you're going to see on the silk screen we have antenna minus, antenna plus, and we have power plus and power minus. Should be pretty self-explanatory. Power minus is going to be the negative or the black cable, and I'm going to push it up through the back. Power plus is going to be the red cable. Alright, both of these are pushed up from the back. I'm going to bend them off to the sides. Antenna plus and minus, it really doesn't matter. You can go either end. I'm going to do the antenna first. And this one might need to be snipped just a little bit. I think I got a little bit of extra solder on there. So I'm just going to clip the end. It looks like I have a little ball of solder stopping it from going all the way up. So it's just a little snip. This should go in our antenna. It's going to give me fits. So I'm going to heat it up, see if I can get it a little bit thinner. Alright. Grab our antenna. I'm going to push it up through. I like bending it off to the side. So we're going to do one component at a time. We're going to do the antenna first, then we're going to switch, and we're going to do the power side on the other component, and then we'll marry the two together. The easiest way to do this, I found, now that you have your cables in, you're going to place it face down, and place this one down, and we're going to do them all in a line. So, I'm going to tin our tip first. touch the little ball of solder to the wire and the component. I'm just going to feed some extra solder into it. Should flow exactly where it's hot. Should be a nice solid connection. See if I can zoom in a little bit. And do the next to the other side. I'll start on the module. Okay. Now we're going to marry the two. Take the module end. Plug one side in. And again, it doesn't matter which one goes where. I might have to trim these back too, because it looks like I got a little ball of solder on there. Makes it a little bit wider than it needs to be. This one as well. Go on one side, go on the other side. Get in there. Alright. Same as before. I'm going to take my iron, a little dab of solder. Right on the wire and component. Right on the wire and component. Let's inspect our solder. Everything looks pretty good. I'm going to put our solder away. I'm going to put our soldering iron away. Unplug it, make sure it's off. And now, at this point, I should be able to get any USB cable. For these, they have to be USB-C to USB-A. I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to plug the other end into a component. And as you can see, it lights up nice and bright. With this particular adapter, you don't have to feed it USB, but the USB is going to feed it 5 volts. You can go up to 12 volts. I wouldn't recommend going any higher, or you risk releasing the magic smoke. As you can see with this, you can get pretty good distance with it lighting up. But it's a fun little experiment and a great soldering project. Like most of my devices, there's no setup, there's nothing that you need to download. As long as you have some solder, a soldering iron, and some simple tools, you should be able to put this together. Thank you so much. Have a good day.